Life is an endless journey of making decisions. Once we get into class 10, it's about what do we have to choose, what stream we have to choose. Passing class 12 poses us with a lot of questions: what college, what course. And then once we are in the jobs, how to upgrade skills, what skills do I need? Hi guys, this is Ayush for Vartalab, and today I bring you Monica Swami, who possesses multiple talents. Well, number one, she's a career counselor. Second, she's an engineer and an MBA graduate in human resource management. Third, she is a corporate trainer. So, without much further ado, I welcome you, Monica. Hi, Monica. How are you?
I'm doing good, Ayush, and thank you for getting me here. I hope to give the best in the Vartalab today. Hello, everyone.
Okay, so I guess we're good to go with our question section.
Yeah.
So, my first question is, when and how did you decide that you wanted to be a career counselor and a corporate trainer?
Okay. Well, as you have already given this in my introduction, I am basically an engineer and I started my career with few good brands like Accenture and all. I had the offer letters of Accenture, TCS, IBM, all those big brands after my engineering. After working with IT sector for a while, I always had that hidden love for speaking and training. And that's how I did my MBA HR and moved into the human resource side. While working on the training and development sections for organization, I realized that while doing training, one thing which was missing in people was not just the technical skills, but more of their passion or love for working. What they were doing, they didn't just loved it. So when an individual is not loving what he or she is doing, they need to be trained and they need to be scolded and trained. And that's where I realized that people should identify what exactly they want in their life, and this could be done only when students of 6 to 12, when they understand what is they want in your life. Because most of the time people are just opting for subjects and professions basically on what their parents are saying, or what the neighbors are doing, or what their cousins are doing who have made like good buildings, or made a good amount of money, and they
Yeah.
just select the profession on that basis. So that's when I realized, after entering into training and development, that coaching or maybe counseling is the need what students require in today's time, so that they don't face such challenges when they enter into the professional world. So that's how it happened with me.
Wow, that was a brilliant story that we just heard. Yeah, the thing is, we are all like a bunch of goats and sheep. We're just following wherever our herd is taking us, and that I feel is really sad in the modern context. I can understand this thing happening in the 1960s or 50s, where there were not enough resources, not much knowledge available. But in this 21st century, in the year 2020, when still people are doing this, that is where the real problem starts. That brings us to our next question. That you're an engineer, an MBA graduate as well, which is something that every corporate nearly desires, right? So you would have been a perfect candidate for them. Then why did you part ways with the corporate?
Well, Ayush, if I say of parting ways, as the question you have asked me, I have not parted my ways. It is just
Yeah.
that earlier I was working inside the corporate for their welfare, and now I'm working from outside the corporate for their welfare. Yes, there is one fact attached to it. Initially, when I moved out of the corporate, there was a big loss, and the loss in term of finances. And apart from that, there was no other loss which I bear. But slowly and steadily, as you say, you run behind your passion, or you run behind whatever you want. You start getting and you start earning more than what you were doing earlier. And that's what exactly happened with me. Once I came out of a corporate, for initial 1 or 2 months, I was relaxing and just unlearning all what I did in last 10 years. And then when I started running back, things were like normal, and I never even felt that I have got some kind of financial losses or anything, because ultimately I was able to get the finance part covered. But more importantly, I was able to, love the work I was doing. So I'm no more working 9 to 6. Rather, there is no time on which I work. I even work in midnight at 2. I work in morning at 4. I work in afternoon at 2. So because I love it. I love it. So there is just no time which I define that this is my working time. And I'm still working for corporates. I'm still working for society. But on a bigger picture, yes, I'm helping people to identify what exactly they want.
People who follow a rigid schedule might want to report this. Okay, so that was really wonderful to hear. That you don't have specific work hours. Most of us, we want to work. We follow a rigid schedule that working from 9 to 6, 9 to 5. But the thing is, deep down, we all desire that we need our own working hours. Something that we are all comfortable with, and that you are getting that, and that is just perfect. Okay. So now that you transition from a corporate product to a corporate trainer, which is something that creates corporate products, that transition must have been a bit difficult. It would have posed you with some challenges, some hurdles. So how did you overcome them?
First of all, I loved your terminology of corporate product.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we say about corporate product, well, yes, the transition was challenging. And it's not just a challenge which I faced because I moved out of the corporate. I believe any transition is challenging, be it a transition of becoming a father from being a man, be it a transition of becoming a mother from being a woman. So all the transitions in life are challenging. It is just how you deal with it, or it is just your love for that transition. So in case if you love that transition, you will do anything to get through it. In case if you do not love that transition, you will have 10,000 excuses of not getting through it. So rather than what you want, you'll be more focused on what is stopping you to get what you want. Okay, so when I did this transition of coming out from a company and working on my own, initially the biggest issue which I was facing was isolation. Because when you are doing something of your own, every time you are going in front of somebody, it is a personal brand which you have to show to people. So there is no space where you can just be, just talk to yourself in your own ways. Okay, today आज मुझे काम करने का मन नहीं है, ऐसा मैं अब किसी को बोल नहीं पाती हूँ. Because every time I have a client, I have to give my best shot while working. So yes, the transition was difficult, it was challenging, but again, as I say, for every transition, it is important that you love reaching where you are going. And I just loved where I was moving, the path which I was taking through. I just loved it. And also, just adding to the same story, the transition brought a lot of challenges, and I did my studies of transition coaching so that I can help other individuals who can understand what they want and are ready to take this transition. So being a transition coach, I even help them to take these transitions.
The more I hear you, the more I want to hear. But the thing is, I just have short span of time, so I'll just stick to the questions that I have in mind. That is so. Well, let's move to our next question with that. How does a corporate training session looks like? What all processes are involved? How do you start? How do you carry it forward? Just tell us everything about it.
Okay, so when I talk about corporate training session, there are various type of people with whom you interact in corporate training. So with few HRs with whom I deal, it is like they have a specific things and specific list in their mind, and they're just working on the to-do list where they are checking it up. So I love it. Why? Because they have a lot of clarity in mind, and I'm just supposed to enter into that clarity and deliver what they want. And the second mode in which I work, which I love personally more, is when I enter into companies and I do these training need analysis. I find in what is the things, or what are the skills the employees are missing, what is stopping them to perform the best, what are those behavioral aspects which if added into their profile can help them generate better results. So this is the second way, and definitely I love the second one more.
Yeah. Okay. That is something, I have never taken a corporate training. I'm still in my graduation year. So, but yes, I guess people who are, who are budding to be corporate trainers, who are looking forward to this sector might relate to it better than I am relating it to right now. So, can we just have a, a brief, idea about the skills that are required, the absolute necessary skills?
Okay, so if I talk about skills required to become a corporate trainer, well, I would say whatever is the field, be it an engineer, be it a corporate trainer, an HR, a doctor, the biggest skill which is required is, do you love that profession or not? So again, this is not a skill which can be taught to anybody. A lot of people even don't consider it to be a skill, but the biggest thing which is required is, do you love it or not? And when I talk about being a corporate trainer, I just love every single thing about that profession, every single thing. So be it preparing all night, be it standing on your, standing the entire day and speaking, be it doing a lot of research, be it sometimes not being able to answer a question and then feeling a guilt that if I would have prepared a bit more. So I love every single feel of this particular profession. And for all budding corporate trainers who look up to this profession, the first thing is you need to love it. And the second thing is, though you are a trainer, you become a coach or a counselor, the second more important thing is, please don't stop learning, because this entire industry is all about getting the latest and the most important things which are coming as the upgrades in the market to the people. So the day you stop learning, you can never take it back to the people. So one thing which I feel a lot of time is, I'm back in my standard 10th and 12th where I'm sitting and studying the entire day so that I can get the best to the people. So one important skill is love it, and the second important skill is keep on learning, and the third important thing is keep a confidence in yourself. If you get something, you'll be able to deliver it, and then the entire universe will be behind you to get you to rolling on that path.
Uh, Shah Rukh Khan, I remember one of Shah Rukh Khan's dialogues here. किसी चीज को सच्चे दिल से चाहो तो सारी कायनात झक मार के उसे तुम्हारे पीछे लेके आती है. So that is something we learned today here. That, if you want to do something, you have to start loving it. That is the first and foremost thing you have to do. Which, well, will bring us to our next question. That I was going through your LinkedIn profile, wherein I found that you had a vision to develop power skills in the AI era. Can you elaborate it?
Okay, so this is my mission, and what I say, to develop the power skills in the AI era. Though I would not say that I would be able to do with this millions, with million and billions of people. Yes, definitely I will try. But the major reason of bringing this as my motto is that the 21st century has given us a lot of beautiful technological gifts like the artificial intelligence, augmented reality, top technological gadgets, and I love them all. Believe me, I love them all. I use them all. But at the same time, it is very important we do not miss on the fact that we are humans. And the most important thing which we own is our humanity, our skills, our power skills. So, be it empathy, be it love, be it care, be it etiquette, be it discipline in our life, these are our power skills. And if you have these power skills, if you own your own power skills, you can develop any amount of AI. And that's what I want to make all the viewers realize, the fact. Please work on yourself and bring out your power skills, and then nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible.
Yeah, nothing is impossible. Once you have the belief in yourself, there's absolutely nothing you can do. Love thyself. That is the main point here. I'm figuring out. This brings us to the last segment of our show, wherein it is now more of a trend, or you can say a tradition with us, that we ask our guests to deliver a message, a suggestion, maybe an advice, anything of that sort. That just motivates our audience. These are tough times. These are the entire world is battling coronavirus. So any motivational message from your part would be really, really, really appreciated.
Okay, so when we talk about motivation, a lot of time we search motivation outside. We search that we get, some famous big personality who have made a lot of things in their life, and we start taking up, the motivation from them. But the fact of the life is that motivation is not outside; it is within you, and you can never search out motivation outside. You need to search it inside yourself. You will be able to reach the moon if you wish to, not if I wish to. And there is one simple thing what I would like to share with everybody before we end up this session. We all are born original. We all are born as one masterpiece. Let's not die duplicate. Let's die original. So bring your originality to the world. The world is waiting for another Monica. They are not waiting for, another Bill Gates. He has already proved what he had to. And the world has enjoyed what he wanted to prove. Now it is time for me. Now it is time for you to prove what you can get to the world. So be original. Just be yourself. Just be yourself.
First of all, a round of claps to you. That was the most wonderful thing I have ever heard on this show. This even this prompted me to look inside me as well. I had to see that am I doing the things correctly? Is it really how I want life to pan out? But yes, let's not die duplicate. That thing is gonna, that thing's gonna ring in my ears for forever now. I cannot get this out of my head. That was just prolific, terrific. Yes, I don't have. I'm out of words. I don't know how to define it. I'm really mesmerized by the charm of your words, to be honest. So the things we learned here are that love yourself. That is the first and foremost thing, and love your work as well. If you're doing something, you know, just put your heart into it. Don't run away from it. No, don't do the things that you might not do when you don't like it. So just be original as well. Be the first Monica Swami, be the first Ayush, be the first anyone you want to be. So do not copy others, be original. This was Ayush for Vartalab, guys. It has been a wonderful session with you, Monica. You can follow her on Instagram and YouTube. I'll put the links in the description. So it was wonderful to have you here, Monica. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.